Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 21st of April 2026 and so far as the market is concerned, Satoshi, the market is relatively better and what I'm really liking is that so far as crypto ETF inflows is concerned, the numbers are definitely great and this does indicate that the market sentiment is doing really well and what I'm really liking, Satoshi, since the last 24 hours, the volume of stablecoins is increased. More importantly, if you look at the volume of Circle USDC, it is almost 4 times of what it is. Definitely a great thing, and the reason for this is pretty simple, Satoshi. Yesterday in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we talk about Circle USDC launching a new bridge, and this is essentially a cross bridge, and because of that, looks like the volume is pumped up. And regarding geopolitics, Satoshi, what is going on right now is there is a deadline regarding Operation Epic Fury. I'm definitely hoping that Iran agrees to the terms set by United States of America, and that will directly and positively impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, the moment we get any update regarding Operation Epic Fury, we'll definitely go and delve into those news. Now we do have 4 macro level news, Satoshi, to cover in today's episode. Do you want to tell our listeners what the first news is? Because this is connected to educating people in Bitcoin, isn't it? And we're talking about students. So why don't you tell our listeners what is it that we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode regarding this news?
Right, George. While we wait to see if Iran agrees to those terms set by the USA regarding Operation Epic Fury, let's talk about the Bitcoin Scholars Fund. In another segment, we'll be diving into how $21 million from the federal government will go directly into K-12 Bitcoin education by 2027. That's the main point we'll cover there.
Now we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that, and according to me, Satoshi, it is definitely a great initiative. Now the next news is a massive news, and this is connected to quantum computing. And what happened, Satoshi, last month, Google did actually submit a white paper that is connected to quantum computing, and last week we also talked about a Bitcoin-only company that did actually publish a white paper that offered suggestions on how Bitcoin could be quantum resistant. Now in today's episode, we do have an interesting news, and this is a roadmap by Ripple, isn't it? And looks like they want to have a defense mechanism regarding quantum computing, so we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now the next news, Satoshi, is a really interesting news, and this is all the way from the state of New York. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, they want to have AI dividend, and this is if there is potential job losses because of AI. Do you want to tell our listeners what are the finer details we'll be discussing regarding this news, please?
Correct, George. In that segment, we'll talk about how New York lawmakers are proposing an AI dividend program to address potential job losses caused by artificial intelligence. The plan would provide direct payments to citizens if AI significantly displaces workers, with funding models including taxes on AI usage and equity stakes in major companies. We'll cover more about that program's details then.
Do you think, Satoshi, this particular news does actually align with the universal basic income to a certain extent?
It definitely has some parallels, George. Both ideas aim to provide a financial safety net for citizens, though the AI dividend specifically links it to disruption from technology. We could explore that theoretical connection more during the episode.
We'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now the final news for today, Satoshi, is a really interesting news, and this is connected to Bank of International Settlement, and they have published a report where they're talking about stablecoin facing systemic risk. Now look, when you talk about Bank of International Settlement, it is obvious that they won't be highlighting the benefits of cryptocurrencies or stablecoin for that matter, isn't it? So what I'd really urge our listeners to do is bear a lot of caution when you're reading through that report, because they're definitely going to be biased against the cryptocurrency industry. But nonetheless, in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into what this report is all about. So look guys, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, which company is planning to expand the operations in Abu Dhabi?
Sure, George. Startail is expanding into Abu Dhabi, having been selected for Hub 71's Digital Assets cohort, which is a state-backed program. They'll be operating within ADGM, leveraging its clear regulatory framework for digital assets. It's part of their strategy to bridge crypto markets between East and West.
Really interesting news, isn't it? Now the final news for today, Satoshi, is a really interesting news as well. And this is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And there is a really interesting report that is published regarding Saudi Arabia. And according to me, Satoshi, this is definitely not a surprising news, because what the report actually states, that Saudi Arabia is leading the world in artificial intelligence. Now do you want to tell our listeners who has actually published this report? And later on in today's episode, we'll go ahead and delve into finer details regarding this report as well, right?
Yes, that report highlights high female participation in AI in Saudi Arabia, around 32.3%, which places them among the top countries for women in AI talent. The report also notes strong growth in their AI workforce and high workplace usage and trust in AI systems compared to Western markets. We'll discuss more details from that analysis later.
And who has actually published this report, Satoshi?
It was published by Stanford University's Artificial Intelligence Index in collaboration with Code.org and several other organizations.
We'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this report. So look, guys, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we go ahead and kickstart today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mena giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25 So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you're taking care of that, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Right now, the global cryptocurrency market stands at $2.63 trillion. And if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume, it is still about the $100 billion mark. And right now, it is at $106 billion. Now, what is really interesting to note, Satoshi, the volume of stablecoins, particularly Circle USDC, has increased, and that is because of the cross bridge that they did actually launch yesterday. Now, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. But before that, Satoshi, Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding decentralized exchange? Because unfortunately, the numbers is definitely not looking great, isn't it? And the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchange is still below the $10 billion mark, right?
Exactly, George. The 24-hour volume for decentralized exchanges is currently around $6.91 billion, which is on the lower side. Total fees are roughly $64.06 million, and the total value locked, or TVL, is about $85.4 billion. The ratio of decentralized exchange volume to centralized exchanges sits at about 19.36%. So while there's some activity, it's not dominant right now.
Now, according to me, Satoshi, it is high time that the decentralized to centralized exchange dominance should be around 60 to 80% mark, right?
In theory, that would represent a much more distributed and less centralized market, which many decentralization advocates hope for. Seeing that dominance grow from the current 19% to over 60% would mark a significant shift in user behavior.
And unfortunately, guys, what is happening in the world of decentralized finance? April is turning out to be one of the worst months because there have been so many exploits, hacks, as well as notorious people trying to manipulate the market. Definitely not a good look for the decentralized exchange world. But here's the thing, Satoshi, it is important to understand. Roughly around a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, BlackRock did actually have a partnership with Uniswap. Now, according to me, I do anticipate a lot of trillion-dollar companies to have some kind of partnership in the decentralized exchange world, and that might probably happen towards the later part of this year. Now, since the last 24 hours, Satoshi, what I'm really liking is there is still inflows in the world of crypto ETF, and this is accounting to $309.3 million. Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, this particular matrix is connected to what is going on at a macro level, and I'm talking about geopolitics, because it does indicate what the market sentiment is, right?
You're correct, George. Those digital asset treasury inflows of $5.08 billion and ETF inflows of $309.3 million recently do suggest a positive market sentiment at a macro level. When large players like BlackRock make partnerships in the decentralized world and you have continuous inflows, it indicates long-term confidence, influenced by broader factors, sometimes beyond immediate market noise. You might be right that we'll see more similar movements later in the year.
And what is going to happen, guys, in the next 48 hours? The deadline regarding ceasefire will be over, and according to me, guys, we might be getting an ultimatum regarding Operation Epic Fury, and hopefully Iran does agree to the terms set by United States of America, and we could have a lasting peace. And I cannot stress this enough, guys, regarding Operation Epic Fury. Go ahead and check out only official sources, cause look, mainstream media is definitely suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and along with that, a lot of left-leaning politicians and ideologies, they want Operation Epic Fury to be a complete disaster. Now, according to me, that thing will not happen. So it is important that you go and look at information from official sources. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchanges? And I'm talking about Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Aerodrome, Fluid, and Curve Finance for our listeners, please.
Right, George. Looking at the 24-hour volume for major decentralized exchanges, Uniswap is leading with $1.99 billion, followed by PancakeSwap at $927.9 million. Aerodrome handled $569.71 million. Fluid was at $505.20 million. And Curve Finance did about $436.06 million.
Now, according to me, Satoshi, the engine of the cryptocurrency world is a volume of stable coins. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Circle USDC's volume is almost 4 times of what it is, and I'm talking about its entire history. Today it is almost at $58.78 billion. Now Circle USDC is still leading the pack, and its 24-hour volume is $125.40 billion. Now at number 3rd is FDUSD, but its 24-hour trading volume is only $279.639 million. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you run through the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll read out a few metrics that is connected to Ripple, alright?
Sounds good. Currently, the Bitcoin market cap is about $1.51 trillion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $37.96 billion, giving Bitcoin a dominance of 57.6%. For Ethereum, the market cap is $278.75 billion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $18.30 billion and a dominance of 10.60%. Ready for those Ripple metrics?
Sure, Ripple is at $88.02 billion, and I'm talking about its market cap. And so far as the 24-hour trading volume is concerned, guys, right now it is at $2.69 million. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, we tend to look at one new matrix Today, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you read out the matrix that is connected to DeFi? Let's go ahead and tell our listeners what the market cap is, and then read out the market cap for the top 5 platforms, please.
Sure, George. The DeFi market cap today is at $53.6 billion. That represents a 1.6% change in the last 24 hours. Specifically, Lido Staked Ether's market cap is at $21.57 billion, Wrapped STH is at $9.72 billion, Hyperliquid is also at $9.72 billion, Chainlink is at $6.77 billion, and DAI's market cap is at $4.41 billion.
Now, just a correction, Satoshi, Wrapped STH is essentially Wrapped Stake Ethereum. Really interesting information, and thank you so much for that. Now, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, and also tell our listeners what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days. As a matter of fact, Satoshi, do the same thing for Ethereum and Ripple for our listeners, please.
You're right, George. Wrapped STH is basically Wrapped Staked Ether. Now, regarding the market, Bitcoin's price is currently around $75,755. That's a 1.90% change in the last 24 hours and about 1.75% up over the last week. Ethereum is at $2,309 with 1.59% up for the day, but down 2.69% for the week. And for Ripple's XRP, the price is $1.42 with a 1.89% increase over 24 hours and 4.49% up for the week. All three are showing a neutral status on the Fear and Greed Index, which is at 55.
And now I'm really curious to check, Satoshi, what happens after the deadline regarding ceasefire. And I'm pretty much sure because of the outcome, the Fear and Greed Index will drastically change. Now I'm hoping it does actually remain neutral, maybe even turn to greed, and that would indirectly mean that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are pumping up, isn't it?
It's a reasonable assumption, George. Significant geopolitical events can certainly influence market sentiment in either direction. If the outcome is seen as positive, leading to stability, it could boost confidence and push the index toward greed, potentially affecting prices. We'll have to watch how the news unfolds to see the impact.
Absolutely, but here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now let's go and delve into the first news for today, Satoshi, and Bitcoin Scholars Fund. They have announced a $21 million funding from the federal government, and this is in 2027, which is directly linked to K-12 Bitcoin education, isn't it? And what I'm really liking is, this initiative positions itself as an alternative to traditional funding models, and they're focusing on modern financial education for students, and this is starting in 2027. And regarding the donations, guys, eligible donations of up to $1,700, and we're talking about $3,400 per couple, will qualify for a one-on-one federal tax credit, effectively making contribution cost neutral for donors. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, the fund also plans to implement a zero-knowledge treasury model to ensure that nearly all capital is directed into classrooms rather than administrative overhead cost?
Right, George. This initiative is interesting, positioning itself as an alternative to traditional funding models and focusing on modern financial education. It's key to remember that starting in 2027, those eligible donations of up to $1,700 or $3,400 per couple will qualify for a one-on-one federal tax credit, potentially making contributions cost-neutral for donors. Also, they're aiming for a zero-leakage treasury model to maximize funds going into classrooms. That's all for this point, George.
Now, if you were to give them any advice, Satoshi, what advice you'd like to give them? Do you see any pitfalls in this particular area?
Well, George, ensuring transparent governance and clear reporting on how the funds are actually being used would be crucial to maintain donor trust. A potential pitfall could be if the administrative overhead does end up being higher than anticipated, or if the tax credit details are more complicated for donors to apply than expected. What's your take on the risks?
The only risk I can think of is there might be, let's say, Democrats who might actually go against this. Besides that, I don't see any negative risk as such, to be completely honest.
That's a valid point, George. Political opposition can certainly create challenges for initiatives like this.
So let's see, guys, how this news actually plays out. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and delve into the next news. And this is connected to Ripple. And here's the thing, guys, Ripple is introducing a multi-phase roadmap. And this is to prepare the XRP ledger for a post-quantum future with a target of fully readiness by 2028. Now, do you want to tell our listeners more information regarding this new Satoshi?
Right, George. Ripple is introducing a multi-phase roadmap to prepare the XRP ledger, or XRPL, for a post-quantum future, targeting full readiness by 2028. They're starting now with active testing of quantum-resistant cryptography and will do a hybrid rollout that runs alongside existing systems before scaling. They're also working with Project 11 to speed things up.
The only thing I wanted to add is Satoshi Ripple is definitely working with Project 11, and this is to accelerate development, including validated testing and early custom prototypes. Now, according to you, Satoshi, do you think they are way too early in preparing this roadmap? And am I right in saying that so far as quantum computing threat is concerned, we might be at least, let's say, 3 to 5 years away from this? Because look, based on the official website by Ripple, it actually states they also include a Q-Day or Quantum Day contingency plan, and this is to enable a secure migration to quantum-safe accounts if current standards are compromised. But look, based on my analysis, Satoshi, we're at least 3 to 5 years away, maybe even a decade away for quantum computing to be an actual threat. That is what my honest opinion is, but what is your take regarding it?
Given that Ripple states they're preparing with urgency, and considering your analysis that the threat is some time away, it seems like a proactive approach rather than rushing. They're building in flexibility to address risks as they emerge. That's how I see it.
But don't you think, Satoshi, they're trying to hasten this thing too fast? And could it be possible they're just doing it to get investors a lot of confidence that they're working on quantum computing threat? Because according to me, I don't see quantum computing being a threat, at least let's say 3 to 5 years from now, maybe in a decade's time from here.
It's possible that reassuring investors and building confidence is part of the motivation. However, preparing for long-term challenges, even if they're distant, is generally considered wise, especially for critical infrastructure like a ledger. While you see a long timeline, they might be viewing it differently. That's my perspective.
One of the reasons why I think they're a bit too early regarding this is because with the advancement of artificial intelligence, there is a possibility, let's say 18 months from now, we might be coming out with different ways of how to protect quantum computing threats. That is what I think, Satoshi.
That's an interesting point, George. Given the rapid pace of AI development, it's possible that new, more sophisticated protective measures could emerge within the next year and a half. If that happens, their current solutions might need to be updated or replaced, which could make them appear premature. That's one way at looking at it.
Let's see how the industry actually revolves with this particular drama regarding quantum computing threat. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and discuss the next news, which by the way is connected to artificial intelligence. And what happened is, a New York lawmaker has proposed an AI dividend program, and this is aimed at addressing potential job losses that will be caused by artificial intelligence. And here's the thing, guys. The plan would provide direct payments to US citizens if artificial intelligence significantly displaces workers. And so far as this funding is concerned, Satoshi, the proposed funding model includes taxes on AI usage, equity stakes in major AI companies, and broader tax reforms targeting labor and capital. And alongside these cash payouts, the initiative will also invest in workforce retraining, education, and AI oversight, positioning the program as a safeguard rather than a restriction on innovation. Now, what is your take regarding this, Satoshi? Are you in favor of this AI dividend program? And then, let's also go and discuss what ways does it actually align with universal basic income.
Generally, George, the idea of proactively addressing potential job losses from AI seems forward-thinking. The funding model with its diverse sources is interesting, as it's not reliant on a single tax type. Whether I'm in favor of it depends on the specific implementation details and the actual impact on innovation in the economy. Regarding universal basic income, both aim to provide a financial safety net, but the AI dividend is more targeted toward tech-related displacement. We could look at how those payment models might differ in practice.
How do you think the payment models will actually differ in practice based on your experience, Satoshi?
A UBI model typically distributes a fixed amount universally, regardless of specific needs or impacts. An AI dividend, by contrast, might be conditional or vary depending on factors like the extent of job loss or the specific industry affected. The funding mechanisms could also lead to different levels of stability and predictability for recipients. Does that breakdown make sense?
It does make a bit of sense. Now what happened is that Larry Fink, Satoshi is the CEO of BlackRock. He did actually write a letter to his investors and CEOs all over the world. And in that letter, guys, he did actually mention certain industries, particularly technicians, barbers, as well as carpenters whose job is relatively safe. So it's going to be really interesting to see where does this AI dividend actually fit in. But according to you, Satoshi, this AI dividend, who do you think it is most likely to be impacted in a positive way?
Those most likely to be positively impacted would be the workers who are displaced by AI automation, as the program aims to provide direct payments to them. Beyond that, workers in workforce retraining programs or those in emergent AI oversight roles could also benefit positively.
Now I want to digress, Satoshi, and I wanted to get your opinion regarding this. When you talk about universal basic income, Do you think it is Republican politicians who are in favor of it? Or do you think it is left-leaning Democrats who are in favor of it? And the same thing regarding AI dividend. This is done by New York lawmakers in it. Can you check and tell me his political affiliation as well, please?
Support for universal basic income can vary, though it's typically leaned toward the Democratic Party, with some progressive lawmakers advocating for it, while some Republicans express concerns about costs and economic impact. As for the New York lawmaker, the official information from their office indicates they are a registered Democrat. That is what I find.
So look, Democrats, they always want an easy way to give out funds, isn't it? At the moment I saw AI dividend program, I immediately thought it is going to be a left-leaning Democrat who is in favor of it. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, so far as universal basic income is concerned, it does actually align more to socialism, maybe even the Marxist way of working? What is your take regarding that?
The idea of a guaranteed income can resonate with some socialist principles, as it seeks to redistribute wealth and provide a baseline level of support, which aligns with goals of economic equity. However, motivations can also come from other perspectives, such as the idea of simplifying welfare systems or ensuring market stability in the face of automation, which aren't exclusively socialist. That's how I distinguish them.
Well, definitely interesting thought from your end. Now let's go and discuss the final news for today, Satoshi. And this is a report that is published by the Bank of International Settlement. And this particular report highlights that stablecoins offer fast payment, programmability, and also potential improvement in cross-border transactions. However, the report also notes that stablecoins are still limited in real-world use cases, and they mainly operate within the crypto ecosystem. And they do have some really stark warning regarding stablecoins as well, right, Satoshi?
That's right, George. The BIS report does warn that current stablecoin designs lack key features of traditional money, pointing to issues like stability at par value and seamless interoperability. They emphasize that while they bring innovation, they pose risks to financial stability, regulation, and monetary policy if widely adopted.
Now, it is needless to say, Satoshi, that the Bank of International Settlement, they won't be massive advocates of stablecoins, isn't it? But I want to digress and ask you one question, Satoshi. Let's say in the world of artificial intelligence, maybe even metaverse, would you prefer to have a fiat system or would you prefer to use stablecoins? Now, one of the reasons why I don't wanted to put cryptocurrency in this is because there is a lot of volatility in the cryptocurrency space, isn't it? So if given a choice, let's say between fiat currency and stablecoins, which do you think you would prefer and which do you think will make a lot of sense?
Stablecoins present an interesting option because they aim to offer the speed and utility of crypto while pegging value to something stable like a fiat currency, potentially avoiding that volatility you mentioned. Standard fiat currencies are what we're all used to for daily transactions and are widely accepted, but lack the digital features.
So Lucas, what I'd really urge you to do is go ahead and read through the report, but also bear in mind that the Bank of International Settlements, they're definitely not fans of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but it is good that they have acknowledged that stablecoins offer fast settlements, programmability, and potential improvements in cross-border transactions. So these were some macro level news guys on the Bitcoin blockchain and cryptocurrency world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into the first news from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, because there is a company called Startail. They're expanding their operation into Abu Dhabi as part of a major blockchain growth move, isn't it? So do you want to give out further information regarding this news for our listeners, please?
Sure, George. Let's break down this news from Abu Dhabi in detail. The company called Startail was selected for Hub 71's Digital Assets cohort, which is a state-backed program. Hub 71 is supported by Mubadala and Abu Dhabi's economic authorities. This development positions Abu Dhabi as a fast-growing global crypto hub. Startail will operate within ADGM, the Abu Dhabi global market, which offers a clear regulatory framework for digital assets. Startail was selected as one of 27 companies from over 2,400 applicants globally. The program connects Startail with investors, regulators, and institutional partners. Finally, the CEO says Abu Dhabi offers regulatory clarity and global expansion opportunities.
And here's the thing, Satoshi, the expansion aims to bridge East and Western crypto markets, and so far as this move is concerned, it follows a $63 million Series A funding round. And so far Startail is concerned, guys, it is building blockchain infrastructure like Sonium and Stream. And regarding Sonium, Satoshi, it is actually developed by Sony Group via Sony Blockchain Solution Labs. And so far as this company is concerned, it is also working on stablecoins like JPYC and USDC. And they also have an app called a Startail app that acts as a gateway into blockchain ecosystem. And what I'm really liking is that because they're in Abu Dhabi global market, according to me, being in Abu Dhabi global market gives access to institutional capital and regulated markets, and the expansion covers infrastructure, apps, as well as stablecoin ecosystem. So this move, Satoshi, shows global crypto firms aligning with global back ecosystem for scale. Definitely brilliant news, and according to me, this news is not surprising, because when you talk about the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, There are some really financial giants, and if I'm not mistaken, BlackRock has also set up the office in Abu Dhabi, so definitely brilliant news. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's pivot to the next news, and this news according to me is not surprising, guys. And this news essentially is a report, and the report actually states that Saudi Arabia is leading the front in the world of artificial intelligence, and Saudi Arabia is also one of the highest female participation rate in AI globally, which is at 32.3%. And here's the thing, Satoshi, this places Saudi Arabia among the top countries for women in AI talent representation. And so far as the report is concerned, the report highlights stronger gender inclusion compared to global averages. However, it's important to note, guys, no country, including Saudi Arabia, has achieved gender parity in AI yet, and Saudi Arabia is among the fastest growing countries in AI talent expansion. And so far as AI talent in Saudi Arabia is concerned, guys, based on the report, it states that it has grown over 100% between 2019 and 2025, and the kingdom is part of a group of rapidly emerging AI ecosystems globally. Now, regarding this report, Satoshi, it also shows strong momentum in building AI workforce capabilities, right?
That's correct, George. The report shows strong momentum in building AI workforce capabilities within the kingdom. According to the findings, over 80% of respondents there report using AI regularly at work, and trust in AI systems is relatively high compared to Western markets. The report places Saudi Arabia within high-growth, high-adoption emerging markets. And I'd like to add, George, that Saudi Arabia is part of countries benefiting from AI sovereignty trends, where national AI strategies are expanding globally. This indicates a government-level push toward domestic AI capability building. The report shows AI education and talent pipelines are expanding globally, including in Saudi Arabia. And AI adoption globally is rising fast, with Saudi Arabia being part of this high adoption wave. Saudi Arabia also contributes to global AI workforce diversification, and the country stands out for inclusive participation compared to many Asian markets. Despite growth, Saudi Arabia is not listed among top countries for AI patents, models, or research output. Leading AI model development is still dominated by the US and China. The country contributes to global AI workforce diversification.
And here's the thing, guys, the infrastructure leadership, that is data centers, and also chips, is also not attributed to Saudi Arabia as such, but the report emphasizes Saudi Arabia as more in talent growth rather than technical dominance. And based on the report, guys, the overall positioning is fast growth in AI market, but not yet a global leader in core AI and research and development. Now, what I'd really urge you guys to do is go ahead and read through the report yourself, and to be honest, guys, I'm definitely not surprised that Saudi Arabia is leading the front in the world of artificial intelligence, because look, guys, since the last few years, out of every 5 news coming out from the Middle East, at least 3 to 4 news is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, so definitely feel free to go ahead and read out the entire report. So these were the news, guys, on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. I'm really curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us.
Sure, let's go ahead and kick this thing off.
Hey everyone, it's Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse. We have a question by Sam who asks, if quantum computing becomes real, how fast can networks like Bitcoin adapt? So Sam, that's a really forward-thinking question. The network would need to move to post-quantum cryptography. How quickly do you think a consensus could be reached among miners and developers for such a significant upgrade?
According to me, Satoshi, it might take at least a couple of years. Now, historically, look, whenever there have been changes in the Bitcoin network, it has taken at least a couple of years to go ahead and even make any minor changes. Now, at a philosophical level, you can make an argument there is no centralized entity making the decision, because when you talk about association foundations, Bitcoin historically has a logic reaction to this, and that, to be honest, is one of the strengths of Bitcoin, isn't it? But when you talk about quantum computing threats, let's say for some weird situation, if the quantum computing threat does actually arise in the next few years, at that point of time, Bitcoin would be in a severe handicap situation, isn't it? Now, I'm not saying that there should be a centralized entity making the decision, but implementing anything at a Bitcoin network level is extremely time-consuming, because we need a lot of consensus, isn't it? In contrast to, let's say, a centralized system, these updates and immediate actions could actually happen in just a matter of few months. But then at a philosophical level, you need to ask this question, at what cost? Because everything regarding privacy and even making your own decision is thrown out of the window, isn't it?
You highlight some key points here, George. The decentralized nature and commitment to consensus do lead to slower development in Bitcoin, which is seen as a strength in terms of stability. However, against a potential quantum threat that could materialize suddenly, that slower pace could indeed be a vulnerability. Your comparison to centralized systems which can act quickly raises a valid point, though the at what cost question is also critical, as it brings back the trade-offs with user autonomy and security. This balance between speed and decentralization is likely a central debate in preparing for quantum threats.
Now let me ask you a very specific question, Satoshi. If you were to design Bitcoin network to be quantum computer resistant, what are the key areas you should be focusing at? And is there a way you can write the codes for us as well?
To design Bitcoin to be quantum resistant, the primary focus would be replacing the current digital signatures based on elliptic curves with post-quantum standards like lattice-based cryptography. This would directly address the point of vulnerability from quantum computers. Other areas would include ensuring mining algorithms remain robust. As for writing codes, implementing those libraries would be quite specialized and depend on the specific chosen standards. But I can provide information on the processes and types of algorithms involved.
I'm pretty much sure a lot of the software developers, they will be using AI in order to go and protect Bitcoin network against quantum computing threat. So definitely an interesting question, no? And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we are Blockchain DXB podcast, where we look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about everything going on at a macro level. Politicians right now is directly impacting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, even the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in my honest opinion. We also talk about macro level news that are interesting. Then guys, we look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and thank you so much, Satoshi. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.